With Brazil being the next track in our wet car setup series, we're really making it into the final leg of the season. Brazil is incredibly flowing, and in the wet this can pose a little bit of a challenge, especially finding the right rear aero balance. But with the right car setup in the wet, you can drive this track just as confidently as you do in the dry. Starting with the aero setup, I've gone 40 on the front wing, which is actually exactly the same as our dry setup, but I have increased the rear wing up to 28. And this is because we want to move the aero balance rearward, and setting the front wing higher meant we have to increase the rear wing even more, which will then slow us down in a straight. For the transmission, lower your on-throttle diff down to 25 for good traction at slower speed, and set your off-throttle diff to 35 for good rotation at slower speed. And then with your engine braking, go 90. For the geometry, set everything all the way left to its minimum value. For the suspension, go 38 and 4, and then go with a pretty stiff anti-roll bar setup of 17 and 10. Then bump up your ride height both front and rear, go 29 and 61. Then set your brake pressure to 98% and your brake bias actually a little bit more rearward than some of our other wet setups at 55%. Then for your tyres, things are going to get really, really hot. So max out your tyre pressures, which will just keep them as cool as we can. And that rounds out our Interlagos wet car setup. And as I said, this is a track that is actually really enjoyable in the rain once you get things dialed in. Let me know if you make any tweaks to this car setup in the comments below, and consider hitting that like button or subscribing to help us reach 100,000 subscribers. For now guys, I will see you all on track.